Do you want to be the best of the best? Do you want to go where no contestant has ever gone before? Do you want to be the undisputed champion that's been talked about for years and years to come? Well, this video is for you then. This is Wheel of Fortune Boot Camp, and it's time to show the world what they've missed so you can be the best contestant when you go out there. What is up, Wheel Watchers? This is Michael Iliopoulos from season 39, air date February 1st, 2022, celebrating the local flavor of San Diego. Still an unreal experience without a doubt. I wanted to make this video of my strategy and everything I went through, my self-designed Wheel of Fortune boot camp, and how I want you guys to be the most successful contestants possible. Um, a little bit about myself. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, the 216. I'm currently active duty in the United States Navy. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, I talked in my episode that I'm a thrill seeker, so water power jetpacking, skydiving, bungee jumping, racing a NASCAR vehicle. You know, if it pumps the adrenaline, I'm all for it. I do kind of look like Justin Timberlake, just a little bit, but yeah. Without further ado, this is my roadmap, my boot camp. So I want to maximize your moment, and I want you guys to finally get on that stage. I remember in 2020, early 2020, I was a member of the studio audience. So I finally got to see the stage, the puzzle board, everything. And the studio was really small. I would say it's no bigger than an elementary size school gym. And yeah, the nothing is as big as it seems to be on camera. So it was cool to experience to finally be part of a full studio audience. Now it's the pandemic, so the contestants are just the audience right now. I do remember being the last one in that studio, thinking that the road ended there, and that 7-year-old kid that saw John Carpenter win the $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Um, that really just sparked my interest in game shows. So was it a dream that I wanted to give up on at that point? Definitely. But I just wanted to, and going off, leaving the studio, I thought it was it, like I said. I remember going back home, rereading the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. If you know, you know, but highly recommend reading the book. It just reignited that inferno, that desire I wanted to do with Wheel of Fortune because I was so tired of yelling at the TV at home. I was tired playing from the sidelines. I was tired of seeing the same mistakes. I was tired of seeing military contestants fall short and being part of the biggest fails in game show history. So yeah, here we go, running it down. The audition video, right? You have to be unique. That NASA jacket that I wore, where I said where no contestant has gone before, that's what I said in my video. Don't say, oh, it's a dream of mine to be on the show, because they actually stated on the website that you cannot say that. So they are very strict on the guidelines that they put out. So follow that down to the detail. Just be unique. I've seen a lot of recycled ideas on YouTube. So do something that's going to stick out for you and that it's actually you. You're not just being some fake person in that audition video. And then right now they're doing Zoom auditions, right? And you'll do some like quick toss up puzzles. You'll talk about yourself. What I recommend with that, if you get to that point, is sign up for a time slot that maybe one other person is there, because that's going to help differentiate you from the crowd. I don't recommend going to a full group just because it's going to be tougher to separate yourself. So I just signed up with one other person as that closing time got there with sign up. That's part of the strategy that I walked into. Um, was waiting and waiting. Zoom after the Zoom auditions, I think, well, time to rethink another idea with the audition video. Where did I go wrong? Um, and thinking that, hey, resubmit it next year. You know, like we Cleveland fans say, there's always next year, right? But I got the email 2 weeks later. I thought it was spam, but says congratulations, you've been selected as a contestant on Wheel of Fortune. And I screamed in the car. I screamed in the car when I saw that, and it just feels unreal. So I immediately started studying, but they gave me the theme of the show, which was celebrating the local flavor of San Diego. And I knew that San Diego was actually one of those cities that Wheel of Fortune has been a setting or a theme. So I looked at all those episodes, I looked at all those puzzles, thinking, hey, maybe there's a slight possibility that these puzzles might reappear. I studied everything with the events, major events of San Diego, history, anything that could be associated with the city, because I knew that those puzzles were going to be kind of tailored toward that. So there was that. Um, Over 300 crossword puzzles. You're thinking, why over 300 and why crossword puzzles? Well, I actually used to have the Wheel of Fortune app, and I'm not dismissing it at all. You know, it is fun, don't get me wrong, but it really doesn't prepare you for the actual game with the hints and power-ups that you're going to be dealing that are in the app and not in the actual game. So with the crosswords, I would do like the first few and then just look at the missing letters and what's there and see how many words I could make out of that. And then, okay, finally look at the clue. Is it this word? Yes, it is. And I just did that till I passed out every night and really maximized my lunch breaks with um, with those crossword puzzles. So definitely use your brain power. Stop looking at a screen. We already look at our phones, computers enough as is. So definitely just go back to the old school paper and notebook. What I also did is that I assumed that my opponents were the highest difficulty, that they could solve all the puzzles with one letter or less, that they're hitting the maximum dollar wedge every time. And with the toss up puzzles, they're ringing in those buzzers fast as possible. So with the buzzer, right, with the toss ups, I'm going to kind of jump around a bit. Let's say this is your buzzer, right? This is the button right here. I've noticed a lot of contestants just holding the device like this, and then, oh, I know the answer, and trying to ring in from there. Right there, you've cost time. The way that I did it is that I actually used my left hand as a base, held it down like this, my thumb is on the button, and as soon as I know it, bam, I'm slamming my weight into the button every time. How did I improve my reaction time? I watched drag races. I timed those lights. I just kept, as soon as I hit green, bam, was doing that. And anytime my vehicle was at the front of a traffic light, I would gun it as soon as it hit green so I could just go. So definitely try to improve your reaction time. Hold the buzzer the right way. I've seen these buzzers will go down to a nanosecond. Imagine Jeopardy contestants, all three of them trying to ring in at the same time. So it's going to go down to the nanosecond. So every second counts, and I sincerely mean that. What else? I also preparing for this. I looked at every single fail throughout the show's history, every mistake, every error, a lot of mispronunciations, a lot of people that weren't articulate, and don't add an S if it's not plural. Say a G if it ends with ing. Don't add the word and, especially in the crossword puzzles like we've seen. So I've noticed that again, the military contestants, man, I was just tired of it, so I just said, "Hey, put me in, coach." So that's just one of the other things I looked at, and the missed opportunities in season 39. Now, season 38, they had the free play wedge on the wheel. They took that off, so okay, now I'm tailoring that game even more. Um, Not going off in the first round. You have, and in my mind, I played every single scenario possible where I win both toss ups. I go into the first round and I don't touch the wheel the second or the third round, and then it goes from there. So I played every single possible scenario I could in my mind. So everything became second nature. The only scenario I did not play in my mind was winning $1,000 the minimum because I was trying to fight against that and doing everything I could in my power to do so. So, yeah, going off in the first round, if you're one of those contestants that is going to say, like, yeah, you know the puzzle, and you could say, hey, Pat, I like to solve the puzzle, and there's double consonants up there, and you only bank $300 or $3,000. Well, congratulations, the joke is on you because that is going to backfire and could be your potential downfall. So for me, it wasn't enough to play it safe, to say that I just became a contestant, or um, all I care about is solving a puzzle regardless of the dollar amount. If you really want to win, you have to maximize every opportunity that's given to you. So there was that. Now going back to the articulation and pronunciation, staying hydrated is a key thing. So I had a gallon jug of water with me going to the hotel. Another thing that I had, and I did a lot of research with musical artists like Mariah Carey and even Whitney Houston, pineapple juice. Pineapple juice is said to help the vocal cords, and my goodness, they were not wrong. So pineapple juice was key. And also projecting your voice. When you go to the studio, when you're selected as a contestant and you do some practice spins with the wheel, and the wheel is not that heavy. If elder contestants can do it, so can you. It's not that heavy. Um, yeah, so there's that. I'm trying to think what else. Play out every scenario. Oh, the cue cards, right? You want to stand out on the cue cards, when you do the player introductions. Me personally, I was so tired of seeing people talk about family members. And you're probably saying, how could you say that? Oh, you must hate your family. No, not at all. So I just want to say things that were unique to me and that were unique to the show. Water powered jetpacking and looking like Justin Timberlake and being active duty in the United States Navy because, hey, I was in uniform, right? So I wanted that to stick out. Again, everyone talks about family, but hey, if you're passionate about it and you really want to talk about it, then God bless you. Let's see, what else do we have? So some of the game goals I had going into it. So you want to maximize your payout, right? Because like Eminem, the rapper Eminem, right? He said you only get one shot, don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You want to maximize your payout because at the end of the day, all that prize money is taxed some way, somehow, especially if you get the car. Like that is the worst thing that you could win at any show. Like even I laugh when people win the car and the price is right. Now, if you like cars or you really need a new one, then hey, I guess it works in your favor. But the car is the worst thing to win. So my game goals going into this: sweep all the toss-up puzzles, $10,000 minimum per round, take the trip off the wheel in the first round because now it's going back to where the missed opportunities were and eliminating that as scoring opportunity for my opponents, right? In the final spin, I was hoping it hit 900 or 5,000, the top $2 amounts, and solving the bonus round puzzle and hoping that the car is not behind there. Now, so yeah, those were the game goals. Now, as a contestant, I had some goals as a contestant, right? I want to be the crowd favorite. And how I did that is I made in my mind I said to myself, I want to make a sincere connection with every contestant that's there. And celebrating the local flavor of was the theme of the week. So we had Monday's episode was New York, Wednesday was Baltimore, Tuesday was San Diego, Thursday was the Dallas Fort Worth area, and Friday was Cincinnati. With the Cincinnati folks, was very easy to connect with, not because I'm from Cleveland, we're from the same state, but I'm a graduate from the University of Cincinnati. Go Bearcats as always. So Brian, he worked at the College of Business at the University of Cincinnati. Luzanne, she wore a UC jacket. And then Janelle, we were just all talking about Skyline Chili, Graders, what I miss about Cincinnati, and just reminiscing about the city. So I connected with Cincinnati there. The Dallas Fort Worth contestants. I grew up as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so I joked with them about the Cowboys, of course, right? You know, we have to joke. I mean, that's just a rival. But what I did say is that Whataburger destroys In and Out any day of the week. And yes, I have had it. I've had both. I think In and Out is trash. It's actually rename itself to Trash and Dash, but that's just me. So connected with the Dallas contestants there. The Baltimore contestants, at the time the show was being filmed back in December, the Ravens were doing pretty well. So, they were fortunate to have Lamar Jackson. So I talked about him, but I also talked about the crab, Maryland crab, and how it compares to, Maine seafood and Massachusetts seafood. And so you want to get people hyped about their city and have some pride in their city. And Nick, he was an Army recruiter, so military connection there. I think Raquel's son was in the Army when she talked about herself with the player introduction. So again, you really want to make that sincere connection. San Diego was self-explanatory, talking about, hey, you live here. Oh, this event's coming up in San Diego, so that was easy. That was a given. And some contestants aren't gonna talk as much as others, or don't really open up, but still, you still have to be you at the end of the day. And lastly, New York. How did I connect with the New York folks? Talking about the boroughs. Desiree was from Queens. Mandy was from Brooklyn. Jen was from Upstate. I didn't really have, Jen. I didn't unfortunately get to talk with her. Congratulations on her winning the show. Unfortunately, she didn't solve the bonus round puzzle. But having that pride, of course, New York pizza, of course, and the diverse cultures across the board. So again, you want to hype them up with their cities and their pride. Be full of energy when it's their turn to go on the show. And they say, "Hey, New York, come down the stairs. Be loud. Clap. I'm a loud clap, right? Just cheer for them and doing everything you can, because if you give everything to them, they're gonna give everything to you, because this is their moment. They only get one shot at this, right? And for me, you know, that's what it took to be the crowd favorite. I will say that I was shocked um, with that week that I was the only contestant to solve the bonus round puzzle. There were great puzzle solvers, don't get me wrong. I was shocked, like, that it didn't happen. I really thought we were going to have multiple bonus round winners. So I'm kind of shocked by that still. Um, so going personally into my game, right? The first two toss-up puzzles, like I said, you want to be quick with the buzzer, right? Finger on the button, slamming your weight into that button. It goes down to the nanosecond. Um, what else? So I got the first two toss-up puzzles, right? And going into round one, it was my turn to spin. The first spin, unfortunately, landed on a bankrupt, but I figured, that's okay. Muku also landed on a bankrupt next to me, and then it went to Larissa. Larissa calls a T. There's three of them, but then she starts buying vowels. She buys the A, she buys the E, and she says, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna buy the I." Well, it wasn't on the board, and it came back to me. So buy vowels when necessary. You cannot be consonant. You can't go on a consonant spree trying to just guess the R, S, T, L, N, and then trying to figure out the other letters. You have to buy vowels, but when necessary. Um, that's just one of those things. And do not get vowel happy. Just buy the A, then the E, spin again. Um, yeah. So then it turned over to me. I'm tiptoeing again. It hits 800. I call an S. It was there. I buy the O. It was up there. Now, what you'll see on the letter board, it'll say AEIOU, right? That will appear. Now, if there's one vowel left, and you see it on there, it's in the puzzle. It's not there to trick you. So if there was only an A and the E and there's no more vowels left in that puzzle, all those vowels disappear off the letter board. So I saw the U was left on that vowel board too. So I called the U, and that actually propelled me to solve that puzzle even better. I called the R, and then I could have solved, but I said, you know what? There's $1,000 bonus because it was the same letter category, right? I spun it. I hit the Washington, D.C. trip on the wheel. Part of my strategy going into the game, taking that trip off the board. I guess the B, which is the same letter, I solve it and I get the trip. I have about $15,800 going into the game. Now I did leave two L's on that board. However, in my mind, I had over $10,000. I was really close to hitting bankrupt and lose a turn wedges in my show. So I said, let's secure this off the board. Let's eliminate that scoring opportunity from my opponents. Let's bank it because I figured that the second, the third round, I don't touch I don't touch the wheel, and it goes to show that that's true. So round two is your mystery wedge, right? Um, and this actually became the best possible scenario, right? So Muku starts off right, and he gets to about, did you see it? This point right here. Now he has about $2,500. He calls the letter M, and it's not on the board. Now it goes to Larissa. Larissa spins the wheel. She lands on the wild card, and she calls an F. And you can probably tell what this puzzle is already. So there's two F's. Now, if I'm Larissa, I'm trying to spin again, because I'm ahead 15,800. You don't know when your next opportunity is going to happen. So, and all that money is on the wheel. The mystery wedge, $10,000 was out there. The $3,500 wedge is out there too. But what happens? She solves. She gets the wild card, which is kind of useless at that point. Just remember the wild card, it gives you another consonant in the bonus round, and you could use it. You can call another consonant, but I highly recommend using it on like a $3,500 wedge, just a high dollar value wedge. So you can just here, Pat, here's a wild card, and I'll call a C or whatever it is in this case. So she solved it. Only $1,000 is banked, but it's the best case scenario for me because I still have that lead. Right now, if it turned over to me, in my situation, I am spinning the wheel because of what's left on there. I want to, again, maximize my payout, hit that $10,000 minimum, and yeah, all that money on the board. I'm trying to continually run away from this game. So that's all I have with that. Again, do not early solve because, hey, you can say you solved a puzzle, congratulations, but the joke is going to be on you. So now we go into the prize puzzle, right? Um, my recommendation for the prize puzzle, solve it as early as possible. Win that trip, whatever it is. Now, Larissa has control, right? When it gets to that time of solving, I know what it is. I already know. She lands on the express wedge. And if I'm and if you ever land on the express wedge, jump on it. The worst thing you could do, okay, you hit a bankrupt. Oh, but what if I have the $1 million wedge? Well, that's your call. If you're trying to win, I highly recommend jumping on. But the $1 million wedge is not going to mean a damn thing if you don't win the game. So all the more reason to continue to bank more money. So solve as quickly as possible. Me personally, with that lead, I'm hoping it was a trip to the Caribbean, Mexico, or Hawaii, and that's what I started to notice with all the shows that I've been watching in season 39, with the exception of Colette Show You the World. I figured they were going to go to Europe and some other uh, global expeditions that they could have won. So I'm glad it was the Caribbean. It wasn't something that was in Europe, like that was at least $10,000. But yeah, if you hit the express wedge, full speed ahead. You jump on that. You're trying to catch your leader, or you're trying to build that lead. That's just me. Now going into the triple toss up, right? You want to figure out what the theme is. Now, I felt like the only mistake that I made in my game was in the triple toss up. I could not get the first toss up. Muku rang in before me and got it. So congratulations for stealing that puzzle from me. But now I know what the theme is. And the first puzzle was where are we going? And okay, so it's going to be a question involving travel. The second one I saw with about 5 letters, I think just popped up, or 6 maybe, and it was how are we getting there? And then okay, the final puzzle was what are you waiting for? So I felt like the only mistake I made in my game was not sweeping the triple toss up. So Muku, congratulations on getting that first triple toss up puzzle. Now, sometimes you're gonna have another round, before the final spin round, or the round you'll go into will be like played halfway, and then then it becomes a final spin because hey, you're running out of time. In my case, it went from the triple toss up to the final spin round, and I spin the wheel. It hits 900. Okay, I check that off the goal, so I know it's $1,900 per consonant. Category was, what are you wearing? I call an S because I think it's plural. There's two S's, they don't appear where they are. Muku calls an N for the second word. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, is it potentially necklace? Larissa calls a T, there's nothing there. I threw an R out there thinking, hey, it's a common letter, just take it off the board. It's not there. Muku calls an M, not there. Larissa, a B, not there. I've called the L. There's three L's. Seashell necklace, came to my mind, and that's what it was. I maximized my payout with 9,500, just short of the $10,000 minimum. But hey, I win the game with 29,300, just okay. But yeah, you have to go off in the first round, and that was again the big part of my strategy, and that's um, you know, was a big asset to my game. So now you have the three categories. If you get to this point, hey, congratulations, you're going to the bonus round. Now, if you get when you get to the three categories, excuse me, mine were thing, phrase, and what are you doing? Thing is the worst category that you can ever pick because it is generic. And when they say thing, they mean anything. It could be broken windows, used tissue, um, stolen tires. I mean, random things. And anytime I watched the show and I see puzzles like that and the letters appears like, who in the world is thinking that? So I eliminated thing. Phrase, I kind of thought about it, but then I remember seeing a bunch of phrases this season where I'm thinking, who in the world says that? Who says cute as a bug's ear? But bugs don't have ears. So I threw that away. So it left me with what are you doing? I knew that ing was going to be in that puzzle. So I pick it. And yeah, so I go to the bonus round, and you have to, how do you train for the bonus round, right? You have to pick letters that you are comfortable with. In the 90s, early 2000s, people you would see pick C, D, M, and A. And now people have been talking about P, G, H, and O. And I'll say this, there is no magic letters that's going to pop up every single puzzle because you have to assume you have to prepare for the worst but hope for the best. Preparing for the worst. Any pick letters again that you're comfortable with, but let's say you call all those letters, none of them appear. Now make sure you're looking at the letter board and you could still solve this puzzle. I played the bonus round music. I was able to find like that 10-second clip of the bonus round music, and I constantly play that because the music is designed for contestants to panic. And again, I feel like a lot of people do not practice the bonus round. They think, okay, I'm just going to jump right into this and see what happens. No, that's definitely not the way to do it. Sound it out. Sound out words. Keep looking at the letter board, trying to figure out what in the world um, is the puzzle. So I picked What Are You Doing? This actually, one of the blogs that I read going into it, it actually had a win-loss record of 1-16. So this is my puzzle, right? The RSTLNE is given, right? These are the letters. I picked G, M, P, and A. The G, I took it off because of ing. I figured if it's out of sight, out of mind. I've seen contestants where you know a letter is on that board, but they don't call it, trying to use it, um, trying to call a different letter, and you know, maybe that helps without calling a letter that's in there. So I called the G. I called the M because of this word right here. I knew it couldn't be the word to. I was thinking it could be my or by. So I figured the M is more common than the B, so I went for the M. Now the letter P, in my mind, this is an X factor letter that I could throw out there whether it pops up or not, I could still feel comfortable with the constants remaining on the letterboard and the letter A. Now you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, didn't you just say call letters that you know are on the puzzle? So why don't you pick the letter I? Well, something told me at that moment to call the A because I'm trying to solve the third word right here. So when I call all four letters, this is what happens. Let me draw this out real quick. All right. So this is what pops up. And I'll post the link in the description of my bonus round solve. Um, so yeah, the P comes there, the G, the M, and the A. As soon as the letters appear, right, I'm looking at the letter board. I'm trying to figure out, okay, before Pat says you have 10 seconds, I'm still trying to buy a little bit of time to see, okay, what letters are on there. So I figured my, and then packing my popped up first because I saw the letter C, and I figured, packing my what? The C came here again, and then packing my clothes clicked. I shouted out. Um, I solved it. My reaction is woo like that because I was excited. It was sincere. Let's go. You know, I'm still speechless of me solving that, and I was so glad when Pat revealed that envelope that said $39,000 and it wasn't the car. Now you're probably thinking, well, didn't you hope it was 100,000? Yeah, who wouldn't? But I wasn't banking on hitting the $1 million wedge. I wasn't banking on the $100,000 wedge because I knew there was one. I figured there was like one, maybe two 50,000, and maybe one or two 45,000. But the rest is 39,000 and the car because it is playing to the house favorite, right? It's not really playing to the contestant. Um, what I will say, looking back on my show, is that um, I do remember seeing the 3 days in a row they hit $100,000, right? And yes, those are high payouts. Um, but I will say that some of the best contestants don't win the $1 million, let alone $100,000. I would argue that I'm one of the greatest to ever do it. But to me, this was my $1 million moment. I didn't need the $1 million wedge. I didn't need the $100,000. I didn't even need confetti to shoot out of a cannon. When a 7-year-old kid had that dream to go on a game show and not just go on a game show saying, hey, it's one of the many items on my bucket list. No, this was my number one on my bucket list. And to the point of quitting and having that fire reignited in me to continue to pursue my childhood dream and to see it happen, man. I just knew that I treat this like the national championship game. I did not want to leave the studio thinking about what was or what could have been. And I'm sure there are numerous contestants out there where when they when their game is over and they actually go backstage, right? They go backstage and watch the TV of the contestant that made it to the bonus round and see how they do. I can only imagine what was going through their mindset where they're in that backstage and they're thinking, damn, they're looking at around there, it's like that could have been me. And so you think about, oh, I could have done this or that. I shouldn't have played it safe. I should have spun the wheel another time with all that money that was left on the board. So I did not want to leave that studio with any regrets. I did not want, because me being in San Diego, I didn't want to have that not long drive, but like 2 hours at most down the coast and think about what was or what could have been. And I'm one of those people that doesn't talk a big game. I really want to back it up. Again, I'm still shocked that I was the only player in that week, the celebrating the local flavor of week to solve a puzzle. Excuse me, it still feels unreal. Now, one of the big takeaways from what I've noticed is that you can be a great puzzle solver. I don't care how fast you solve the puzzle. That girl, you've seen the clip of that lady who solved the puzzle with one letter on the board. But you could be a great puzzle solver, but you could be a poor decision maker in the game. Whether you could have spun, situational awareness of, hey, if I spin it in the worst case scenario, I land a bankrupt, what is it going to cost me and how is that going to affect the game? So it can lead to your downfall. It really can lead to you to losing it. And yeah, when I went up there, I felt like I belonged. I was not nervous. I practiced the cue card answers hundreds of times, making sure again it was there. It was in my brain, ready to go, and I, it still feels unreal. It still feels unreal to call myself a Wheel of Fortune champion. I'm forever grateful to have made those connections with uh, the fellow Wheel of Fortune contestants that I was with, knowing that they shared the same passion of the game. And countless households across the world have that same passion. But you have to ask yourself, if you really want to be a contestant, what is going to separate you? And people have asked me, well, I've always wanted to be on the game show, but I'm too old, or don't have that regret. Um, I made this video, I made this boot camp because wheel watchers are tired. They are tired of seeing people play it safe. They want to see people hit big. I know this isn't Jeopardy where you have the returning champion come back, but they want to see the next Ken Jennings making that long run and making that legacy. So I did everything I could to trailblaze a legacy. I hope for future military contestants, whether active duty and veteran, that the best is yet to come to you. And all I cared about was trailblazing a legacy and breaking that curse. So when I look back at John Carpenter, that 7-year-old kid winning the $1 million, what John Carpenter was for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, what Ken Jennings was for Jeopardy, hopefully Michael Iliopoulos is a household name when it comes to Wheel of Fortune. But that is all I have for you in my boot camp. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm just trying to grow the channel if I can. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll answer anything about my experience with the show. I don't care how stupid it is. Now that the episode finally aired, I could talk about those things. So, again, I'm forever grateful for this experience, and let's keep going. That's one of my sayings that I say. So, don't stop. Let's keep going. Take care, everyone, and I wish you nothing but the best.